And now, B1039 presents Big Rapids Buzz with Bruce Borkovich and Chris Law. Brought to you by Rivertown Real Estate.
The Pet Boutique on South 3rd Avenue in Big Rapids. Paris Creek Jewelry in Paris.
Along with support from the community. The opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests and are not necessarily those of Up North Radio, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Just hold on. I'm coming. Just hold on. I'm coming.
Good morning, Big Rapids. This is Big Rapids Buzz with Chris Long and
Bruce Borkovich. Good morning, Big Rapids, Mecosta County, surrounding counties. And before I forget, our good friend, member of Corri's Corner, Pete Kent, is going to have a knee surgery, a knee replacement. And Pete's a tough guy. This isn't going to get him down. But if you get a chance today, just quietly say a prayer for Pete and wish him success and a good outcome.
Speedy recovery.
A speedy recovery. I think Pete's 86. He's a tough guy. Most people wouldn't even consider this at his age, but Pete's going to do well. So please say a prayer for Pete today.
Yeah. All right. So today we have Corri and Lori, but we'll start with Corri. So, how long have you lived in the community?
I have been a Mecosta County resident my entire life. We moved to Paris 17 years ago, but I've lived in Stanwood and Big Rapids and been here since I was born.
What do you like most about this community? Why are you here?
I like that it's a smaller community. We have a lot of, like some of the bigger box stores and things like that, so it's convenient, but we have a lot of nature and just a lot of outdoorsy stuff to do around here.
Plug your business name.
Paris Creek Jewelry.
Okay. and you make jewelry, obviously.
I do, yes.
Talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I've been making jewelry since about 2010. I started just with like macrame and stringing and things like that, and I've evolved over the years into metalsmithing and do a lot of wire work and hand stamping.
What caused you to get into that, though?
I've always been an artist my whole life. When my daughter was a baby and my husband was working out of town a lot, I just ordered a couple of kits and started messing around with them, and everyone that I worked with was like, hey, I want one of those, and so it just kind of snowballed from there.
So you were basically self-taught is what you're saying?
Yep.
That's cool.
Is there a kind of a style that you specialize in? Like, is there a signature, or do you make stuff on demand?
Yep, I do a lot of custom orders. I think that I usually classify my jewelry as rustic elegance. It's pretty earthy. I use a lot of stones that I collect myself from like the Great Lakes. I've also collected a lot of rocks just off of my gravel road, and I tumble them, and ones that will fit whatever I'm making, I use those, and the other ones just sit in a jar somewhere.
My wife taught me about that, rustic elegance, rustic lux. We build a log home, and I build a lot of our furniture, and she taught me about the concept of rustic lux or rustic elegance. So I actually understand that now.
Cool.
How long does it typically take to make one of these pieces?
It depends on what I'm making, because I do just a different variety of styles. So sometimes it can take a few weeks. Sometimes it depends. If I'm on a time crunch for somebody, I can usually make something within a couple of days. But lately, life has been busy, so it takes a little bit longer.
We're going to talk about that busy life a little later.
Yeah.
So has there been a particular artist or maker who's influenced your style, or is it just all Corri?
Just nature is usually, I say,
it's incredible,
nature is
isn't
my
it?
muse. Yep. So
it's every once in a while I'll find a piece of wood in the woods, and I'll just see it and look at it and realize I can make this out of that. I'm doing that all the time, and my wife usually likes it. It's amazing what nature has to offer.
Yep. I've used a lot of stones, but I've used pine cones and acorns, and I've had people bring me their horse's tooth or memorial jewelry with ashes, people's ashes. I've done that before too.
So that's pretty cool. So you can definitely do custom work for people that something might be really sentimental from someone. That's neat.
Yep.
What is it? More earrings or necklaces or what is the most that you?
Probably the majority of custom orders are usually necklaces, but sometimes bracelets or earrings. I do it all. I also do like bookmarks and ornaments and stuff like that. So people that don't want, I have a lot of people that say, well, I don't wear jewelry, but they like to read, so we do a bookmark or something like that. So keychains and all that kind of stuff.
How long have you been doing it?
Since 2010, I believe, is when I started.
Wow.
What would you say is the biggest challenge with it? Is it the idea phase or the actual doing, the manufacturing of it?
Sometimes it's just the concept of it. I'll have people that they kind of know sort of what they want. Like they want something to celebrate this milestone or memorialize something, and maybe their favorite color was purple, and that's all they give me. And so usually it's a kind of a long process with custom orders. Sometimes a lot of messaging back and forth and sending pictures of different materials, and I always send pictures along the way as I'm making things so people can see where we're at. And
so tell us about the most memorable piece, whether that's the most expensive one or the one that took the longest to make or the one that was your biggest success.
There's been a lot of memorable pieces over the years. I did just do some 24 karat gold earrings to go along with the 24 karat gold necklace that I made earlier this year. That was probably the most expensive because gold is not cheap right now.
Now, do the clients give you some of the materials like the gold, or do you purchase it?
I ordered the gold.
Okay.
That was not cheap. I do have people that will give me like a stone or something like that. I've got a friend of mine that when they go on their trips, she'll bring stuff back and I'll make her a necklace or something. But recently my aunt and uncle's 40th anniversary, they just celebrated back in September, I think. So my uncle commissioned me to make a piece for her. So that was pretty special to me. So that was fun to make.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You had an experience making a piece of jewelry for a pretty famous person here in Michigan, did you not?
Well, I didn't make it specifically for them, but they purchased it.
They purchased it. Well, tell us a little bit about that. Corri, you tend to be
who
a very
was this mystery
humble
person?
Yeah. Tell us about that.
I had a former Michigan governor. He was still the governor at the time, but I used to wholesale for a couple of museums in Michigan. One was down in Lansing. I think it was called the Michigan Historical Museum, and then they had a branch in Negaunee, the Iron Museum, Old Iron Museum or something like that. And so the governor stopped in one day and bought a pair of my earrings. So the manager messaged me that night, just so you know. So that was kind of cool.
But how did he find out about it?
He just was in there shopping, I guess. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Is there any other famous people that you've made jewelry for?
Jeez. Just
or local celebrities?
Instagram influencers over the years. I know one of them wore my jewelry to, I can't remember the name of the show, but it was Chip and Joanna Gaines. So there was like press photos of her wearing not Joanna, but the influencer wearing my jewelry next to Joanna. She gave her a hug and stuff. I was like, oh, my earrings touched Joanna Gaines.
So do you have like a separate shop or a building? You do this inside the house?
Right now I have a room that's designated for my workspace. I was hoping to win that cabin from the sheriff's department, my friend John Turner. But I didn't. I won the picnic table.
Do you have like a mill and a lathe or
I have
kiln?
A rock saw. It's out at my dad's house right now, though. But for cutting stones, I could do lapidary on that, which I don't because I don't have time right now. I'm hoping
you can do what?
Lapidary, which
What's
is
that?
Trimming down the stones, grinding down the stones, making them into cabochons and things
rock
like
cutting.
that.
I was worried. I had lapidary once, but 2 weeks of penicillin got rid of it. I'm as good as new.
I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah, I'm good as new. No side effects or anything from that. So
I do a lot of soldering.
Sorry about that.
Stuff like that. So I use a torch and
So
bring chemicals.
eventually, as the business grows, it could evolve into an outdoor space.
I would like to have a separate space outside of my home. I do classes also for like hand stamping and other jewelry making techniques. It would be really nice to have something outside of my house. I will travel to people's homes or other businesses and do them there too, but I'd like to have just some studio hours where people could come and, a lot of people like to see the jewelry in person, which I don't blame them because even though I try to take decent pictures of them, it just never looks the same as it does in person.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Good.
Where can everyone buy your jewelry, where can they go?
ParisCreekJewelry.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, too. You can always reach out through those channels.
So it's not necessarily come out to my house, knock on the door, come in and see what I do. Probably preferable to contact you through the website just to make sure you're home. You're a very busy lady, which we'll talk about a little bit, but that'd be the best way to start with you.
Yep.
Do you get husbands who, I guess I'm being a little sexist here because it could go either way, but do you get husbands who call you up and say, hey, I want to make something cool for my wife, whether here's an old stone from a ring I got her years ago, or I want something new. Do you get that? Because that, I can tell you, there's husbands that probably are really interested in that, but a little intimidated, don't know what to do. How does that process work?
Well, that was like my uncle just recently. Actually, I saw it. He was behind me on the road, and I waved at him behind me, and all of a sudden he's yelling to me out the window. So we're both yelling to each other out the window. I'm like, what? He's like, what's your phone number? So he called me. I had no idea what he wanted, but it was to make a necklace for my aunt. So a lot of people, especially like him, they don't really know what they want. I enjoy like finding symbolism and things like that. So I made like a shadow box heart with a rose quartz, which is a stone of love. So I love diving into all of that type of stuff. And if you have some different aspects that you want to be celebrating, I like to go through and see what I can do that is meaningful. That would.
That's when the artist in you comes out. And that can tell you a lot of a guy like me. I know I want to do something nice, for my wife, but here's what I'm celebrating, Corri. Right. Can you design it? You make it happen. That's pretty handy.
What time of year is typically your most busiest?
Christmas.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah. So, not only with the whole township clerk thing you going on, you also have a lot of orders with this.
And so this question has to be asked. We're pretty close to Christmas. If someone comes to you in a week from now and says, make me something,
I think it would be
Christmas.
over.
Yeah, Christmas.
We might miss it.
It'll be Christmas Day, so probably I prefer you to come to me before Christmas Day.
Yeah.
How much rum cake have you had to forget
They're
that?
going to be, I hit Christmas Day. That's the point I was making. If you come...
I do get a lot of people that will come to me just a couple days before they need something. I'm so sorry, this is last minute. And usually I can, it might not be the most intricate piece of jewelry, but I can usually come up with something. So
Nice.
Maybe an empty box with your business name and say, next year.
I do gift certificates.
Next year.
Too. Yep, I do gift certificates. So there's always that option.
What's the most unique request you've ever received? Here is my husband's left ear. Can you make it into a piece of
Never worked with an
jewelry?
ear. I've worked with antlers. I've worked with. I had a horse tooth that I made into a bracelet. That was pretty cool because.
Did you make it for Lori?
No, I didn't make it for Lori. I had another horse friend. Her horse's tooth had to be pulled, so she saved it and then said it looks pretty cool though.
So this is getting a little silly, and I need to explain why. Lori brought in a rum cake. Now it wasn't a rum cake; it was a rum cake. And first of all, it's incredible. It's the best rum cake I've ever had. But Chris and I had a piece of it, and we're going to go from here to the Betty Ford Clinic after the show because I think we need a little treatment. But it's incredible, Lori.
How much did you put in there?
Well, it's not half a cup.
At a time, Chris.
But
half a cup at a time.
But I kind of used half a fifth.
You know what? You got the half right.
I thought it was good.
Well, you got the half right.
Right, and if a half a cup is good, a half a fifth has to be better, right?
Absolutely.
It's very moist.
But I'm not, being gratuitous here. That's the best rum cake I've ever had.
You need a chaser.
It's incredible. But as it soaks in here, I think, this is going to degrade into just laughing for the rest of this time. Wow. But, because as I mentioned, Chris, usually I wait till about 9 in the morning to start drinking. And,
eating.
8:20 this morning I started, which is, I'm a disciplined person, and that's out of character for me. So.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So let's get talking about your new position.
She has a new position, Chris? What? Doing what?
Have you been living under a rock?
Yeah.
Clearly. Well, so, Corri, you're the new township clerk for Green Charter Township. So, what inspired you to be or run for the township clerk?
Well, it definitely wasn't something I ever thought I would do or really even wanted to do, but we had the recall over the petition collecting over the summer, signature collecting. Sorry, it's early, my coffee's not kicking in yet.
Have some rum cake. No, don't.
No,
Oh, yeah, that'll fix everything.
That'd be helpful. So, we did a lot of work collecting signatures all summer, and we got, way over the minimum that we needed, and people needed to run against the previous board, so nobody was stepping up. And
So this wasn't a lifelong,
No.
when you were graduating high school, you'd say,
Absolutely
someday
not.
I want to be a township clerk.
Absolutely not, no.
Corey, I can tell you, because I've become involved at the township level now, and prior to that, I didn't have a clue as to the responsibilities of certain positions. What are the responsibilities of a township clerk?
Well, I would say the biggest responsibility is handling the elections. So I'm in charge of all the running of the elections and preparing for the elections and all of that stuff. We are like the keeper of the records, so we have all the cemetery records and things like that, and a lot of just the day-to-day office type stuff too. So, but yeah, elections are the biggest thing.
And pretty involved at a meeting. You're
Yes.
maybe more involved than
Than
a general board member.
Yes,
at
we're
a-
in charge of taking all the notes and then doing all the minutes. We're in charge of preparing for the meeting, doing the agenda, doing the notices, getting all of the things together for the packets for the board members. And
And how about a big shout out to two very special women, Penny Corri and Hannah Says. Am I
Yes.
pronouncing her last name right?
Yes.
Haven't they been wonderful?
They've
They're
been
both on the board in Big Rapids Township,
Yeah.
and I know they've been up a lot helping you folks.
And that just shows how the community overall,
Yes.
the county, can
We've
come
had
together.
Several clerks come.
Yeah.
I've got 4 that have been helping me. I don't
That's
know if
great.
they want their names out there or not, so I won't say. But yeah, we've had a lot of help. It's been wonderful.
That's great.
Yeah.
that is, Chris, you're right. That's a signature of this community.
Correct.
It really is.
People came together.
What goals do you have for your time in office?
Well, we're working on modernizing and streamlining everything right now.
Yeah.
We discovered once we got in there's 3 different accounting programs, and actually I think there might have been 4, and one is so outdated that there's no tech support for it, so the treasurer can't even use it. So just a lot of things like that and getting things organized. I mean, the people that were in there previously had been there for a long time, and
Had their ways of doing things.
yes, and I don't necessarily want to do this forever, so I would love for it to be easier for the next person after me to get in there and just be able to find everything and get in and do the work that they're supposed to do without jumping through hoops.
I think you guys need to create like a book that is like the contingency plan of transferring things.
Yeah.
This is what you do first on day one. This is what you do. This is how you get into things. Blah, blah, blah.
That's a great point, Chris, because that's what a public servant does. They don't hold grudges or animosity in case they lose an election toward the next leaders. They think about the public first. And really, the transition from one elected person to the next one should be really smooth when you have the interest of the public first and foremost.
A township building should not be in closed down state or minimal operating for over a month because of things that occurred. So
Great point.
Anyway, how do you balance between the township clerk job and your business and your family? How do you balance that?
There hasn't been any balance lately. I'm doing a tap dance with all the plates on sticks.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Just ask what's her name. What's his name? Her husband. What's his name?
John.
Yeah. Well, I was throwing you a pitch there. You're supposed to forget his name because you were so busy.
Oh, yeah. No, we've been together 23 years.
So you remember.
I'm not going to forget his
Has it had any impact on your family?
Yeah, my family has definitely been feeling the stress of all of this, but they've been helping out and doing, they're holding it together still. My husband does a lot of the cooking, which he's always kind of done.
Is he? Oh, okay. I was
But-
going to ask, is he a good cook?
Yeah, he went to, when we were in Career Center our senior year, I was in automotive and he was in the food
The
service
culinary
program.
center. Oh, yeah.
So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent.
What's your
I lucked
favorite
out
dish
there.
that he makes?
Oh, geez. He likes to make steak a lot.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
We eat a lot of steak. But he made beef stroganoff last week, and that was really good,
Oh,
too.
so we'll put you on the spot. You're the, not the interim clerk, but, it was a recall. Will 2024 have your name on a ballot?
Like I've told people that have mentioned this to me already, it is way too early for me.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
But
Like,
just to educate people, because there's a lot of confusion. In a recall, a person has to run against who is being recalled, at least one person. And if they win, that doesn't mean they're in for 4 years.
Right.
That means they're in for the
their
next till the
term.
next natural election cycle, which is November 2024.
Correct. Yep.
So.
Yeah. I will have to see how things go, because this has been one of the most stressful months of my life, just trying to, normally when you get a new job, you have training.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
there's some sort of protocol that you follow to learn your new job.
Yeah.
This job, we were thrown into it.
Yeah.
I've never been on any sort of board before, but I've also never been hired in anywhere which I wasn't hired in, I was elected for this, but same kind of thing where you have nobody with previous experience helping you.
There's not a mentor there. There's no internship. There's no probationary period.
Right. We have had other clerks, but everybody does things differently. Everybody has different programs that they use, all that type of stuff. So they've been saviors. They're angels.
The state of Michigan really needs to come in and make a
Yes.
standardization.
Yes.
I mean, in the automotive industry, we have ISO standards to keep us consistent across all the companies. And
There needs to, Chris, you brought up a great point. There needs to be a continuity plan, because there is going to be animosity in elections. It's very seldom that someone who loses an election, who's in power at the time, is going to say, well, doggone it, I lost, but come on, I am going to sit down and I'm going to really, for a month, I'm going to be in here every day showing you how to make this transition. That's not human nature. It's not going to happen.
Unless somebody retires, that's
Exactly.
about the only way that's going to happen, probably.
Exactly.
what's the most difficult thing you discovered as being the clerk? As the most difficult responsibility?
Well, the elections are going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they are.
Having the time to even just learn how to run them has been a challenge right now, because we keep having, we've had to have all these meetings, because you can't make any decisions as a board without having a meeting, an open meeting. So that's a lot of work for me. We've had 4, and we've been in there just over a month.
When is the next meeting?
January 9th, I believe. It's the second Tuesday of January at 6 p.m.
And I think, was it at that first meeting that then you have to establish the meeting dates for the rest of the year, right? Or did you just do that at the last meeting?
They were already established through April, I believe, from the previous board.
Excellent.
We changed the time to 6 just because they were going so late.
I think, you're a high achiever and you put a lot of pressure on yourself, but I think people in this community are hungry for honesty and transparency and an elected official who listens to what they say. So I would just, if I could offer a little advice, enjoy the ride. I know you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, but people are going to love what the board is doing, because they don't expect you guys to know everything there is about running that township, but the expectations are honesty and representation, and you folks are already doing that.
There are some people that expect them to know everything.
There are, but I would say the majority, as reflected in the recall election, expect them to be listened to and heard, and expect honesty and transparency.
And I've had several people come in and talk to me about different issues that they, would like to address, and I am more than willing to talk to people about that.
Anything else you'd like to talk about before we get you? You've probably got work to do, having it Christmas time. Anything else before we push you out into the snow?
Not that I can think of, but thank you for having me on today.
Yes.
Plug your business and your weird buy.
What's that?
Your business,
yep.
how to get a hold of you?
Paris Creek Jewelry. You can find me at pariscreekjewelry.com. I'm also on Facebook, again, Paris Creek Jewelry, and on Instagram. I do have a YouTube channel. There's a couple other different places you can find me probably too, but I don't use them as much right now. So.
And is your husband available to drive you home in case you have a piece of rum cake on the way out?
No, he's working right now.
So
I'm
for the deputies
skipping the rum cake.
and troopers up here north of town, please work somewhere else for a while. Corri's going to have a piece of rum cake. She's driving straight home. She's going to drive 22 miles an hour.
No, she's not, Bruce.
She isn't?
I'm speaking up, and we're gonna come back here in a few minutes with Lori Brock. Corri has not taken a piece of cake, just to be clear.
That was good, Corri.
Paris Creek Jewelry. Jewelry for free-spirited individuals seeking beauty, not perfection, on their journey through life. It's time to take your gift giving to the next level and talk to Corri Rebo about your custom order for Christmas or any special occasion. Even a Michigan governor bought earrings from Paris Creek Jewelry. Corri can take your ideas and turn them into handmade, one-of-a-kind pieces that makes your loved one feel beautiful and unique. Find Paris Creek Jewelry on Facebook, Instagram, and online at pariscreekjewelry.com.
I'm Lori Brock with Rivertown Real Estate, and I've been in business about 38 years here in Big Rapids. I love my job because it gives me the opportunity to make people's dreams come true. It gives me a chance to meet people, work with them one-on-one, help them find exactly what they're looking for. I feel the real estate market right now is struggling. People are into a mortgage based on what they could afford a few years ago, and now the cost of living is exceptionally high. Inflation is high, gas prices are high, food prices are outrageous, and home ownership, some people have to downsize right now, and we just want to try to make that transition as easy as possible. If you want to get hold of us, you just give us a phone call. The office number is 231-796-4805, and we can help you.
If Fido and Fluffy's reaction to your grooming and bathing leaves you thinking maybe that job is best left to the professionals, bring them to the Pet Boutique in Big Rapids at their new location next to Big Rapids Lumber and Hardware on South 3rd Avenue. With 3 expert groomers on staff, your wait time is far less. Plus, if you need to be away from home, the Pet Boutique also offers that sometimes hard to find daycare and boarding for your pets. Plus, they bathe, shave, and do nails on cats and large breed dogs. Deb is back too, along with Katie and Lydia. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 5. Stay up to date on the Pet Boutique page on Facebook. Call for an appointment, 231-580-9387. The Pet Boutique in Big Rapids.
Serving the universe from the top of West Michigan. The new B1039 is WBZX Big Rapids. The 80s and more. B1039.
Welcome back to BR Buzz. And Chris, this ain't working, is it? I love that song you picked out, and this ain't working. This is fun. But this is Bruce Borkovich.
And Chris Long. We're here with Lori Brock. She's our second guest for today. Lori Brock, you own, what real estate agent is it?
Rivertown Real Estate.
Yeah, okay. So, when did you move to the community?
I came here when I was 18 years old. I came from the Thumb area, and I've been here ever since.
Nice. Why did you come here? Going from the Thumb to Big Rapids, it's a pretty big change.
It was. I actually was going to school at U of M, and it didn't fit in there. The city was too big, and so I left and came to see a friend of mine that was going to college here, and absolutely loved this area. Loved the quiet town, loved the rivers, loved the non-city atmosphere, and it drew me in, and I stayed.
So you came here, left home. You're 18 years old. You made that hop here and lived alone.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very courageous.
Well,
that's
you.
A big deal for an 18-year-old.
Yeah. My dad was a real estate agent and broker, and had to get away and do it on my own. I had some sisters that kind of said that I was getting things handed to me, and I had to prove that I could do it on my own. So
have to be older sisters.
Yep.
So you wanted to become a real estate agent because of your father?
No, not really. I wanted to be a veterinarian, to be honest, and I was being defiant because my dad thought I should be a realtor because I did work for him earlier in my like career center and all that sort of thing. And I was really determined to be a vet until I got to, doing some veterinarian stuff, and it was just too much for me. The sadness of putting animals down and some of the things just didn't work for me. So that whole time I kept thinking, I was doing real estate on the side. I'm like, why don't I just do real estate? I was, I liked it. I grew up with it. And so that's why I decided just to stay in it.
That's a lot for an 18-year-old to process and think about. How has your involvement in the community influenced your career?
Have you had any community positions in the past? I know some people say you have never done any of that type of stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of posters up earlier this year that said that I didn't really have a lot of community service. But I stood on the Chamber of Commerce. I was a director of that for, I think, 6 years. I was also an ambassador to the community for 4 or 5 years. I was a building trades director, and I've been on the fair board for Wexford County. But Big Rapids doesn't need, like they didn't need help. Wexford County needed help. So I was on the fair board up there for 5 years. So I've done quite a bit of stuff for the community. Even though a lot of people, or some people said I didn't, but...
Well, it was contentious. Let's just say that that was a rough period, and we're looking forward and not back now.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
Lori, are there any local causes or organizations you're passionate about? I'm going to take a stab at the fact that animal and animal welfare might be up there.
Absolutely. I love the helping animals. We rescue a lot of animals on the farm. I also host Horses and Heroes programs, which help veterans that have post-traumatic stress, and they deal with their problems and some of the issues that they have through horses. And that's a really cool program that we did. Actually, Ted Nugent came to the farm, not this year but last year, to help us with that.
Oh, wow.
So it was a really cool program.
That's neat. And just a comment from an observer, your farm is unbelievable. It's gorgeous. Yes. It's like something out of a movie or a storybook. My first time there was for the rally. And, I've driven by the farm. You could see it was beautiful, but being up close there, I'll just never forget when Vivek was speaking. He's speaking. It's this beautiful evening, and there's horses going back and forth behind him, and roosters crowing, and chickens clucking. And I thought, this is beautiful. This is Big Rapids, Michigan. This is America, really.
Well, at one point, the horse stuck his head around the flag and just kind
watched. Wasn't that something? Yeah. I remember that. Did you get a video of that?
I think I did. It's somewhere on one of the phones.
That's amazing.
She's a rock star. She wanted to be in the picture. She's like, hey.
Was one of your horses in a movie? I heard that rumor.
Yeah. Actually, 2 of the horses were. Nitrous and a horse named Hans. It was called Albion the Enchanted Stallion. And we actually we filmed some of the movie here at my farm, some of the movie at Corri's golf course. Oh. And then we flew them to Bulgaria and spent a couple months in Bulgaria filming. So, yeah, it was really fun.
What was the name of the movie again?
Albion the Enchanted Stallion.
Yeah, I've never seen that one.
I'll give you a copy.
That's perfect. Sign it, please.
No.
Just briefly, Lori, tell us about your journey to becoming a broker. First of all, what's the difference between a broker and a real estate agent?
It's just more education and time. And you almost have to be a broker when you've worked for a while. I critiqued a lot of the brokers that I worked for, and I thought I could do better. And one of the first companies I worked for was Westdale Better Homes and Gardens, and they actually moved out of Big Rapids. So it was at that point I had to make a decision, either work for somebody that I didn't really necessarily fit in with, or start my own company. So from that point on, I just started my own companies.
Neat. What advice would you give to someone entering the real estate, or who wants to enter? Maybe they want to come work for you or for someone else. What advice would you give them?
You have to be very, very self-motivated, and you have to be able to push yourself and not have a boss do it for you, because sales is definitely, you get out what you put in.
Sure.
And if you're thinking you're going to come and do real estate and work 20 hours a week, it's not going to happen. My daughter works for me now, and she's feeling it. You're working, not so much in the winter, maybe 30, 40 hours in the winter, but in the summer, there's a lot of weeks we're over 100 hours a week because we have clients that want to buy and sell, and that's what we have to do.
And a lot of weekends.
And all weekends.
Because that's when people are available to look at houses.
Yeah, and in evenings. So your personal life's a little bit, and you have to really juggle things. But
are people moving in or out of the community more, would you say? Since you would know.
I see people moving into the area. We have a ton of people from California, Florida, that are moving up here. Sometimes sight unseen, they're buying properties because they're having problems in their state and they just want out.
Oh, yes.
So we've sold a lot of properties that way. A lot more cash deals than we've ever seen ever. And I've been in the real estate business for 38 years, and I've never seen so many cash deals before.
You think
instead of getting a mortgage?
Yeah.
You think that's a certain, demographically, a certain this generation now who can afford houses, maybe in their 40s or 50s, have maybe their inheritance already from very productive parents? Is that a little bit of it?
Sometimes, but the people around here, no. Usually the people that are coming in that live in Michigan are going the normal route. They're getting the rural development loans or their FHA loans, low money down loans to get a start. It's the people that are downsizing from California where the price difference is so different that they can afford cash. The local people, very few people have cash, to just spend on a house. So,
what's the region that you service? Like, how far north, south, and east and west do you service?
It's crazy, but I go all over.
Oh, really?
I was in Grand Haven, South Haven, Traverse City. I go all over, wherever people need me.
So you sell houses up there, or you purchase which end of the spectrum are you? List and sell up there?
I have clients that have been clients of mine forever and ever, and they're going to buy up in Traverse, and so they're like, Lori, please, we trust you. So I'll go to Traverse and help them. Or I have one family that has a whole bunch of Airbnbs, and we go all over the state to try to find the right housing for them. Or sometimes when you're dealing with C-stores or gas stations or whatever, bars, they're all over the state too, so I go wherever people need me.
That trust is really important. When we moved to the community here, I'm not going to mention names, but we were looking for acreage, which we're going to talk a little bit about. And I felt that I needed someone representing me as a buyer, and reached out to some friends and was referred to someone they really, really trusted. And that particular person's now a friend because I trusted him so much. But that's huge, isn't it?
It is huge.
And
most
business.
of the people
they
that
want
we
trust.
do, well, it's a very personal thing that you're doing because you're buying one of the biggest purchases of your life. So you have to trust the person you're working with. And you do so many of my clients are my friends now because you go through that process with them and it's a celebration when you finally get to the closing table.
What are the biggest challenges that you find that your clients have when moving to the area?
Right now in this market, there's no housing available. There's very, very limited housing. And what is available, if it's been on the market a while, it's usually overpriced. Or if it's been on the market a while, it can't get financing. The houses are so bad that they can't pass, inspections.
Are there people when they're moving up here ever complaining to you that there's no jobs?
No, I've not heard that at all. I haven't heard the job situation at all. There's a plethora of jobs here. It's not that when they're moving here, they're moving to get away from the city.
Yep.
And getting, they'll drive an hour without a problem to get into an environment that they want to be in rather than deal with the traffic and the crime and the just the hecticness of the city.
Yep.
We have a ton of people from Grand Rapids and Grand Rapids, Cadillac, Chicago even. Our resort properties on the lakes are a majority of Chicago buyers, Chicago and Lansing, because they want to get away from that. So,
Chris, tell your story briefly.
Oh, I moved out here to be in the rural area, an hour from Grand Rapids, and that's why I'm up here. And I have no problem with that hour drive. It allows you to wind down when you're leaving work, so you can basically be at home without thinking about work, and then wind up while everyone's still at the water cooler or the coffee cups at work in the morning. So I like the hour.
The advantages of living in this community outweigh, that's your priority. You want to live somewhere nice in a great rural community, and if you sacrifice a couple hours driving, so be it, right?
Yeah. Gas prices are not fun, though.
They aren't. No, that's true. Lori, let's talk current. Tell us about some of your top listings right now, whether they're homes or big properties, hunting properties, small hobby farms. What are some of your current top listings?
Well, I'll just hit the ones that we just listed. One of them is an adult foster care home, which is bringing in good money. They've run the business for a long time, and it's very profitable. That's one of them here in Big Rapids. Just listed a triplex in Everett that's a brand new construction, so that's a very top listing right now too. Plus, we've got some beautiful properties on the river in Barrington that just came up. So those were just listed in the last week or so.
So some people in the community keep talking about the supposed solar and wind or solar fields that you're putting in on your farm. Are you putting in solar things in your farm?
Absolutely not. That's just another one of the mistruths that people have been spreading about.
Well, they show this contract. So is the contract still valid, or was it removed, or what's the deal with it? Could you give a little bit more background?
Oh, absolutely. The contract was, I think, put through in 2018 or 19. And what it was is a friend of mine works for a solar company, and they needed a place to store vehicles and shipping containers, whatever, for a year or two. And they asked if I would be interested in it. They gave me $1,000. And I'm like, yeah, there's nothing else. Well, they gave me the lease, and it was a standard lease. But we wrote a codicil on the side that said this is for, vehicle storage or, just short-term storage. Well, whoever it was went into my records to try to find dirt on me, I guess, and found this lease and has told everybody that I'm building a solar plant there. And they even put a picture of my farm with drawings of solar plants all over it, like the solar field. Mm-hmm. And it's an absolute lie. And not only all of that, but it was put in 2019 and expired in 2 years after that. And they never even put a car on my property. Nothing ever happened. They didn't store anything. They just thought they might, and they never did. So it's just a kind of a big mistruth that has happened and is circulating. And I think it's people that just don't really have anything better to do with their time than try to make up stuff. Yeah. We're trying to save the community, not make it worse. And we are definitely against solar and wind all the way. So, we don't like the government overreach saying that they have to put it here. And I will fight that tooth and nail, just like we're fighting Goshen.
And we're going to talk about that in a future show.
We were supposed to have Tom Coons on, but he had a little
Tom
emergency
had a personal
today.
issue he had to deal with. We're going to dig into that a little bit. What else? Anything else? We're running out of time shortly, but anything else regarding trends in the real estate market? What you recommend? What are interest rates doing? Just give us, you've done this so long, give us a few tips and things on what's next for real estate.
Well, no one has the glass ball to know the future, but we are definitely, with inflation and everything else, people are struggling right now. I kind of see people are going to downsize a little bit in the future to try to get their payments under control. The interest rates are high. Commercial loans, my gosh, I was just talking to one of the banks, and they're almost 10% for a commercial loan right now. So people having loans and having to refinance is going to be very, very difficult for people in the commercial world, and which is very difficult because most commercial loans are on a 3 or 5 year amortization or ARM, or I'm saying the wrong word, but where you have to refinance it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be difficult for these people that got into a loan and have to refinance next year. And same thing with, home loans are ridiculously high. You're talking 7-8%. Yeah. And it's hard. And inflation, gas prices, food prices, all these things are really, really difficult. And the market was really high. Well, now that market has gone over the bump, and it's kind of going back down again. So I expect the trend to be more people selling houses again, having more product on, choices for people. And, people downsizing, unfortunately, and probably a lot of foreclosures coming up. That's what we're seeing, that trend right now.
That's heartbreaking.
It is very heartbreaking.
Yeah. Lori, real quick, the name of your business again and where you're located.
We're Rivertown Real Estate. We're at 1810 State Street in Big Rapids.
Excellent. So we've certainly appreciated you being here. Phone number? I could see someone at home thinking, I was just thinking about maybe looking for some property or maybe thinking about selling my house. got a phone number they could make it real easy on people who maybe aren't online?
Absolutely. My office number is 231-796-4805, and we'd be very happy to help you with anything you need.
They can come in and talk to you, and it's not like you're going to charge them like an attorney $250 for talking to me, right?
No. All of our consultations are free. Our market analysis are free. We're here to help. So if there's anything we can do, please give us a call.
Excellent. Thanks for coming in, and goodness gracious, thanks for the rum cake.
You're very welcome. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All
Chris,
right, is there community buzz?
Is there a holiday coming up?
I think it's Christmas.
Christmas is coming?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, Santa Claus will be dropping by Johnson's Automotive on Wednesday, December 20th from 5:30 to 7:30. Free photos with your camera. You can bring kids, parents, grandparents. You can bring pets. Get them involved in the photos. Johnson's is at 1305 North State Street, and you can call them at 231-598-6053. What else, Chris?
If you're interested in joining the Rotary Club of Big Rapids, it's a global network of like-minded people dedicated to making a positive impact on the community and our world around. If you can find them on Facebook and at the Rotary Club of Big Rapids, or stop by the lower level of Artworks building on Tuesdays at noon for the first 2 lunches are on them.
Excellent. This time of year, I know a lot of people, it hits me that I need to give, not just take and receive and celebrate and eat rum cake. The Misiola Curry Comfort Home is looking for donations for their home. Check out their website, MisiolaCurryComfortHome.com, or you could call 231-287-2208. The donations would be appreciated.
Chippewa Lake Church are having services on Sunday, December 24th at 9 a.m. and a candlelight service starting at 7 p.m. Feel free to join them on Chippewa Lake Drive in Chippewa Lake. Find out more information by going to ChippewaLakeChurch.com.
And another place, Chris, to donate, giving, in the end is far more rewarding than receiving. The Animal Rescue Coalition, it's a nonprofit, no-kill shelter. They always need donations of food and toys. They house dogs and cats throughout the county, and they only take us to take dogs. We're the first shelter in decades to take cats. Mecosta County's only shelter. They typically have between 50 and 60 volunteers who come a couple times a day to spend time with the animals. Dogs are walked several times a day. They care and love for these pets as if they own. Those are the nature of the people who volunteer at shelters. Huge hearts who love animals. They rehabilitate abused and neglected pets. So the shelter's been open for over 11 years. Remember, adopt, don't shop. There are a lot of wonderful pets there that need a home. And some stories I've heard from people say the best animal I ever had wasn't the puppy I bought. The engineered purchase, it was adopting a pet. So,
yeah, and they just reopened too.
They did.
So.
Yeah.
We would like to thank our sponsors this week: Rivertown Real Estate, Lori Brock, we have here, and Haley Brock.
Haley, Lori's daughter.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Pet Boutique, located next to Big Rapids Lumber and Hardware, the old cash and carry, thanks to the Pet Boutique.
And Paris Creek Jewelry. We had Corri on, so go to ParisCreekJewelry.com.
And this is along with other supportive people and businesses from our community. We thank each and every one of you for getting behind our show.
If you would like to sponsor our show, Big Rapids Buzz, call your best friend Jen here at B1039 at 231-796-1103, and she'll get you started.
And if you wonder, wow, these guys are doing okay, Jen is here like a puppet master, moving our mouths, her hand up our back, telling us what to do and what not to do.
Yep.
So
listen again on January 8th, Monday at 8:30 a.m. for Big Rapids Buzz with me and
Bruce Borkovich.
Listen again next Monday at 8:30 a.m. for Big Rapids Buzz with Bruce Borkovich and Chris Long. Brought to you by Rivertown Real Estate.
The Pet Boutique on South 3rd Avenue in Big Rapids. Paris Creek Jewelry in Paris.
Along with support from the community. Big Rapids Buzz, a presentation of B1039.